Alright, well I have a new recipe that I just got that is pretty crazy that I'm gonna try to make with the camera here. And I thought of it this morning because I got a bunch of pork rinds, which are right here, and I didn't know, I got so many, I don't know what to do with them. So I was trying to figure out what I could do, like what would be good. You can do salad, you can use croutons, stuff like that. But I read online, and I thought of maybe you could make like a pancake or a waffle if you combined it with like maybe some other low carb things if you wanted to do that. So I got a recipe, and I thought of it before that it might be possible that you take the pork rinds and you crunch them up a little bit, and then I have a blender that's one of those little tiny blenders, so I can put everything in this bowl right here. So you crunch them up, and I'm gonna pour them in this little cup. Let me get this thing so everyone can see it. So you take the bowl and you just can put it in the cup right here. So I'm just gonna put the pieces in here, and it doesn't really matter if they're really big, because I can squish them in there. I lost one, I don't care. And then what I was doing, it didn't say online to do it. I added, it said to add egg. I added egg, but I also added some milk and baking powder so they'd rise a little bit, and it worked really well. So I'm gonna add 2 eggs, and I did 2 eggs pretty much to make a little bit more than 2 waffles, so I think that's not too bad. There's definitely a lot of protein. They say pork rinds don't have a lot of protein in them, but on the back it says that 1 serving has 9 grams, which I don't think is that bad of the amount of, it says it's not a significant source of protein, but 9 grams is still 9 grams. So if you eat enough of it, you'll get protein. And so I added the eggs, I'm gonna add some milk. And I didn't really do it, a recipe, I just kind of added it till it was the right consistency. So it's not really, I'm sure if you look online it's written down. But the key is with a lot of stuff, if you get dry, if you're cooking like baking, if you want to multiply it, you can just get the amount of wet stuff, the dry stuff, and then you add the water until it becomes the right consistency, and that can kind of get you there with basic, easy to bake things like pancakes and stuff like that. So I got my stuff in the little bottle, as well as little mixer bottle blenders, and I'm gonna make it's gonna be fun to clean this, but it's gonna mix up. And then I'm gonna put it on the blender over here. I'll take the camera with me. So I have a little tiny blender right here, and I put that on there. This is cool. It lights up when you put it on there, and then you just put pulse, and it mixes. And I'm gonna have to add more. It's kind of cool. And it's all, some of the stuff's stuck in the top, so I have to shake it a little bit. But I'll add more pork rinds to this fun mix. So let me add some more here. That'll work. So I'm going to add some more pork rinds. But it's neat. I never even thought of doing that before, and as we're talking, I have the waffle iron warming up over here. I'll crank it up so it's a little hotter. And it sounds like I'm eating them. Let's go back to the blender. I'll leave the camera where it is, so I have 2 hands here. I think I almost got it. I have to get the stuff off the bottom. Almost. Yeah, almost there. I think I add a little bit more to this. This might make more than 2. But it's hard to tell with the amount because these things are in weird shapes. So when it comes to adding them, I'm just adding them because half of them are like, they're almost big enough you could scoop dip with them, or some of them are little pieces. So and I've squished some, so it's hard to tell how much to add. I guess you could do it by weight. because they're all weird shaped. Let me do. This sounds better. Alright, this seems more like it. I'm just gonna mix it. I'm gonna mix it up with the scraper here. Yeah, this looks more like batter. You can see it's like batter in there. It doesn't smell like batter. I mean, I want to drink it. It smells so good. I love pork rinds. I love them. So if you if you want to make something other than just pork rinds, this is a cool recipe. I think our waffle maker's preheated, and I did grease it. I don't know how much you have to grease it because these things actually have a lot of greasiness to them. So let me turn this over to here. And you can see the waffle maker across the kitchen here. I'm gonna open it up. And it's smoking. It's ready. And I'll add a little bit of oil to it, but I probably don't have to. Just a little bit, just to guarantee it doesn't stick, but I doubt it will. There's nothing on them besides nothing really in them that's gonna stick that much. And then I'm just gonna do 2, so it makes 2 of them. So it's 1 on this side. And then 1 right here. I'm just trying to get all the parts so it touches everything. And then I'm going to close it. Just get a little bit more in there. Alright, close it down. And I was immensely surprised. I've made 2, but I called it Keto Insanity with these waffles here. I've never, see, it's cooking. It's cooking. It's rising up. It's rising up. See, it's getting big. These ones are coming out different. It's bigger. Never used baking powder with non-flour based cooking, so this is interesting. It's smoking. It doesn't it doesn't smell like I'm baking with flour. It smells like bacon, which is great. It's smoking. Let's open it up. Oh, look, waffles. Look at the waffles. Keto Insanity. Keto. They're a little mushier, but I think when they cool down, they'll get a little crispier. But you don't always have crispy waffles anyway, so I think it's great. So that's a cool pork rind hack if you have a lot of pork rinds you want to use up. And I'd say you'd use up to make 2. You could probably make with 1 bag of those, so maybe a little over a serving. Like, what does it say on the back here? It says 5 servings, so maybe a serving and a third or so per waffle if you wanted to do that. So that it's not that bad. And then it's an egg. I figured my theory was to do about 1 egg per waffle, so you're not getting too many eggs in. But you could probably do more. You could probably skip the milk and add more eggs. I just thought the milk might make it come out a little bit more like a bread and less like a brick if it got too hard. So I thought that might help with the baking powder. But that's cool. So keto waffles, it's a neat recipe. So let me see if these are ready to come out yet. They look like they're ready. So look at that. Keto waffles. And these, I mean, they're the consistency of waffles. I mean, that's holding up. So that's really cool. So, well, that's a new cooking trick. Have a good day.